Are you seriously studying again? Mia groaned, leaning against the doorframe of her little brother's bedroom. Her voice dripped with sarcasm as she flicked through her phone. At 14, Mia thought she knew the world better than anyone else. Parties, popularity, fashion, those were her priorities. Her brother Ethan, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. At just 12, he was glued to his textbooks like they were treasure maps. Ethan looked up from the math workbook spread across his desk. His room was a mess of open textbooks, sticky notes, and a half-eaten granola bar. His glasses slid down his nose as he squinted at her. Yeah, I've got a test tomorrow. Gotta be ready. Mia rolled her eyes dramatically. You're such a nerd. Nobody cares about tests, Ethan. You think the world's gonna give you a trophy for being a walking calculator? Ethan straightened his shoulders, unfazed. Maybe not. But it might give me a job. Mia laughed so loudly the sound echoed down the hall. Yeah, right. While you're busy being Mr. Genius, I'll be living life. Parties, fun, freedom. Watch me. Ethan's lips tightened, but he didn't fire back. Instead, he picked up his pencil and went back to solving equations. That quiet determination irritated Mia even more. You'll thank me one day, Ethan murmured under his breath, huh? More like I'll be thanking myself for not wasting my life buried in books. Mia shot back, before slamming his door shut. Fast forward 6 years, Mia was now 24, standing in front of a cracked bathroom mirror, applying cheap mascara that clumped her lashes. Life hadn't exactly gone the way she imagined. Back in high school, she'd been the queen bee, homecoming dances, endless selfies, and boyfriends who promised her the world. But she dropped out her junior year, convinced school was a waste of time. She jumped from job to job, retail cashier, diner waitress, even a short-lived stint at a salon that ended when she fought with the manager. Bills piled up. Her friends from high school slowly disappeared, off to college or better jobs. Mia was stuck. That morning, she stared at a help-wanted ad for a receptionist at a downtown tech company. Stable pay, benefits, career growth, the ad read. It sounded perfect, or at least better than the mess she was in. For the first time in years, Mia ironed her wrinkled blouse, pulled on borrowed heels, and tucked her resume, 2 pages of short-term jobs, into a folder. She told herself this was her shot at a fresh start, but she had no idea whose office she was about to walk into. The company's glass building gleamed like a mirror, towering over the city. Mia felt small as she stepped inside, heels clicking on the polished marble floor. Interview candidates, please sign in here, the receptionist chirped. Mia's palms were sweaty as she filled in her name, Mia Collins. Minutes later, she was ushered into a sleek conference room. A leather chair sat at the head of the table. Behind it, a tall young man in a sharp navy suit scrolled through a tablet. Mia's stomach dropped, her jaw slackened. Her breath caught Ethan, her little brother. Except not so little anymore. He was 22 now, broad-shouldered, his glasses replaced by contact lenses, his presence commanding. Ethan looked up, and his eyes flickered with recognition. Mia? He said flatly. She froze. Ethan? You work here? Ethan leaned back in his chair, folding his arms. A faint smirk tugged at his lips. Correction, I run this place. CEO. And apparently, I'm also your interviewer. Mia's knees nearly buckled, Mia's throat went dry. She hadn't seen Ethan in years. The last time, he was still in braces, hunched over his books while she teased him for being a nerd. Now here he was, sitting at the head of a conference table in a suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. She clutched her folder like a shield. So, you're the CEO? Ethan's smirk widened just enough to sting. That's what the title on the door says. He gestured toward the chair opposite him. Sit. Her legs wobbled as she lowered herself into the seat. She tried to look composed, but her voice cracked when she spoke. I didn't know this was your company. Yeah, I figured that. Ethan said coolly. If you did, you probably wouldn't be here. Mia's cheeks burned. That's not true. Really? Ethan tilted his head, studying her like she was a case study. Because last I checked, you made it very clear that books and hard work were useless. I believe your exact words were, he lowered his voice to mimic her tone. Nobody cares about tests, Ethan. Ring a bell? Mia's jaw clenched. Heat pricked the back of her eyes. I was a dumb kid. Yeah, Ethan said, not missing a beat. You were. The silence stretched, thick with tension. The only sound was the faint hum of the air conditioning. Mia squirmed in her chair, her resume folder slipping slightly in her hands. Ethan finally broke the silence, his tone sharp and professional. So, why do you want this job? Her rehearsed answers flew out of her head. She stammered, because I need stability. I want to build something real. I'm tired of bouncing around. Ethan's eyebrow arched. And why should I believe you won't walk out of here in 2 weeks like you've walked out of every other job? He tapped the folder she'd placed on the table. Yeah, I read it. You've had 6 jobs in 4 years. Her face turned crimson. I wasn't ready back then. Back then? Ethan leaned forward, eyes piercing. Mia, that was last year. His words cut deeper than she expected. She bit her lip, fighting the urge to snap back, but she forced herself to stay calm. You're right. I messed up. A lot. But I'm not the same person I was in high school. I'm trying to be better now. For a moment, Ethan just studied her, his expression unreadable. Then he sat back again, folding his arms. You know what's funny? His voice softened, but there was an edge to it. When I was up at 2 in the morning studying for finals, you were at parties telling everyone how much of a loser I was. When I got accepted into college on scholarship, you rolled your eyes. When I started this company, you didn't even show up at the launch. Mia looked down, ashamed. I know. I was awful to you. I thought I had life figured out, but I was wrong. She swallowed hard, forcing herself to look him in the eyes. I need this job, Ethan. Not just for the money. I need a chance to prove I'm not that girl anymore. The room went quiet again. Ethan's face didn't soften, but his eyes flickered just slightly, with something unreadable. Finally, he stood up. Interview's over. I'll let you know. Her heart sank. That was it? She stood too, gathering her folder with trembling hands. Ethan, please, but he was already walking toward the door. Mia left the building with her folder clutched tight against her chest. The late afternoon sun glared down on the glass towers, but inside she felt cold. The subway entrance was just a block away, yet her feet felt like lead. She'd blown it. On the crowded train ride home, she couldn't hold it in anymore. Tears welled in her eyes, and she quickly pressed her sleeve against her face, pretending to cough. People glanced her way, then looked away politely. New York manners. But in her mind, Ethan's words replayed over and over. Nobody cares about tests, Ethan. She had mocked him, stomped on his self-worth, and now he had every reason to slam the door in her face. By the time she reached her small apartment, the tears had dried, leaving only shame. She collapsed on the couch, staring at the peeling paint on the ceiling. God, she whispered. I really messed up, didn't I? Meanwhile, in Ethan's office, the city lights had begun to flicker alive outside his floor-to-ceiling windows. Ethan sat at his desk long after everyone else had gone home, staring at Mia's resume. He should have just tossed it. He had a line of qualified candidates who didn't come with years of baggage. But something about seeing his sister so desperate gnawed at him. He leaned back in his chair, and without meaning to, his mind drifted backward. He was 14 again. The kitchen table was covered in textbooks. His hand cramped as he solved algebra problems, while Mia strutted in with her cheerleader uniform, tossing her hair. Still studying, nerd? She smirked. You know nobody's gonna care how many A's you get when you're bald at 30. The memory stung. She'd been cruel back then. But he also remembered something else, a night when their mom was sick, and Mia had stayed up making grilled cheese for both of them, trying to act like she wasn't scared. She wasn't all bad. She was just lost. Ethan exhaled slowly, rubbing his temples. Don't do this, he muttered to himself. Don't let her in. Not again. But still, he didn't throw away her resume. 2 days later, Mia's phone buzzed while she was at a grocery store, carefully counting out change for ramen and eggs. Hello? She answered cautiously. Hi, this is Rebecca from Stonewell Tech's HR department, the voice chirped. We'd like to invite you back for a 1-week trial position as a junior assistant. It's temporary, but if things go well, it could lead to something permanent. Mia almost dropped the carton of eggs in her hand. Wait, you're serious? Yes. Report Monday, 9 a.m. Don't be late. When the call ended, Mia just stood there in the middle of the aisle, frozen. Then she laughed, a shaky, disbelieving sound. Ethan must have approved it. Maybe against his better judgment, but still. He'd given her a chance, and she wasn't about to waste it. Mia showed up Monday morning, dressed in her best thrift store blazer, clutching a borrowed laptop bag. Her heart pounded as she stepped into Stonewell Tech's buzzing office. Everyone moved with purpose, screens glowing, keyboards clacking. She felt like a fraud. The first few days were rough. She spilled coffee on a stack of reports, mixed up client calls, and once sent an email reply all by mistake. Her cheeks burned with embarrassment more times than she could count, but instead of quitting like the old Mia would've, she stayed late. She asked questions. She wrote things down in a notebook so she wouldn't forget. And when she overheard a janitor struggling to lift a box of supplies, she jumped in without thinking, helping him carry it to storage. Thank you, miss, the janitor said, surprised. Mia smiled softly. No thank you. Really. For the first time, she realized respect wasn't about money, titles, or who looked smarter. It was about kindness. About seeing people as human. By Friday, Ethan watched from his office as Mia carefully double-checked a stack of spreadsheets before handing them to her supervisor. She looked different now, not just in clothes or posture, but in spirit. That evening, as she prepared to leave, Ethan called her into his office. She stepped in nervously. If this is where you tell me I'm fired, just let me say thank you first. Ethan leaned back, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Relax. You're not fired. You've surprised me. Her eyes widened. So, does that mean? You've earned yourself a real position here, Ethan said firmly. Not because you're my sister, but because you worked for it. Mia blinked fast, her throat tightening. Thank you, Ethan. I won't let you down again. For the first time in years, the two siblings shared a quiet, genuine smile. The end. My name is Temille Deebs. Please subscribe and make sure to click on the notification button to know when we upload a new video. Also like, share and comment your thoughts. Thank you. And I will see you in my next video.